folks, now, this, tomorrow night, Saturday, right here on NBC, you can see Bob Hope's latest special based on his best-selling book, Don't Shoot, It's Only Me. And believe it or not, he is out in concerts. You can see him at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, September the 21st. And he's going to be at the Kansas Expo Theater in Topeka, September the 22nd. Would you welcome the one and only Mr. Bob Hope?
Yay.
I've known you for almost 30 years. I've never seen you walk out in sneakers.
Come on.
No.
I wear them all the time.
Yeah. Is that a sneaker phone? I mean, can you talk into that?
No, are you kidding?
No. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
What number of special is this tomorrow night? How many?
I don't really know. I think must be about 380.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been with 40 years with this network.
My 41st year.
44
specials. Yeah.
You did the first television show.
And then I was on radio, here for 12 years before that. So that's 53 years.
That's a long haul.
53 years. I said that to somebody the other day, and he said, beginner's luck.
You say, when you started out, you didn't work alone the first time. You had some partners, right? Different partners?
Yeah, I started out dancing with a partner, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember them? You said you had 2 or 3 different partners?
Oh, yeah. I had a girl. I taught dancing.
I know.
I studied about a year, and the dance teacher had to come out here for his health, so I took the school over. And there was a beautiful gal, and I fell in love with her, and we danced like mad around some of the smaller theaters, and I said to her mother, I want to take Mildred on the road. She said, I got to see the act.
You're kidding.
Saw the act. She said, Mildred's not going on the road in that act.
True story?
And about 25 years later, she came here to see one of my shows, and she came backstage. She said, if my mother was alive today, I'd slap her right in the mouth.
That was a number of years ago, right?
Oh.
Do you remember what you first paid? Your first volume, what they paid you in those days?
I started as a dance team, and we played in a place called Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and they asked me to announce the...
They couldn't have all been there. They couldn't have been there.
That many Newcastle cats out there? And the manager asked me to announce the coming show, and I knew him, Marshall Walker and his Whiz Bang Review. It was his tab show,
Right.
So I got out, I said, thank you, and I'm going to introduce this show. And I said, I know the guy, he's a Scotchman. He got married in the backyard so the chickens could get the rice. Scots jokes are very big in those days. And it got such a laugh, I said, on the next show, I said, and he killed his wife because she bought vanishing cream, And that got a laugh in those days, too. Who the hell are these And I kept padding it, every show, and finally the manager said, that's the kind of act you ought to do. So I started doing my single.
So the dancing disappeared?
Yeah, and I told my partner, I think I'll do a single. He said, I know, I've been watching you.
But Jack Benny, in a way, had the same thing, didn't he? He used the violin a lot originally?
Yeah.
And then
so I put on blackface. I started doing a single in blackface around Cleveland.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're all from Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I used to take the streetcar to the theater, and I missed one of the streetcars, and I got there late. And I said, I got to put my blackface on. He said, no, go out there and play. You got to go. And I went on the stage and worked. When I finished, the booker came back. He said, never put that blackface on again. You got a face that saved jokes. I don't know what he means by that.
Did you not? Is it true? I remember Jack Benny made his radio debut on the Ed Sullivan Show. You did yours on the old Rudy Valley Show, is that right?
Yeah, the first show I did was the Rudy Valley. But before that, when I started doing my single act, I played Evansville, Indiana. And God, we got a mix here tonight. And I rehearsed the show. Then I went to the restaurant and looked in the paper to check my billing, and it said Ben Hope and Keep Smiling.
Ben Hope?
So I grabbed the paper and I rushed into the guy and I said to the manager, I said, what's the idea? He said, what do you mean? I said, what kind of billing is that, Ben Hope? He said, well, what's your name? I said, Bob Hope. He said, who knows? That slowed me down. That slowed me down a little bit.
And you remember all those things,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Will you forget that?
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. When I come back, we got a clip from the show coming up Saturday, so stay where you are. Okay, we're back. I said, tell this one to Bob. We're back talking with Bob Hope. Vaudeville's an era that is not around anymore. You see it on shows like ours and the old Ed Sullivan Show on television. But in those days, you'd work 5, 6, 7 shows a day, right?
Yeah. Well, you did a lot of.
I did a lot
of. You did
of,
an act, didn't you?
Did I?
A magic act?
Magic and ventriloquism comedy.
Yeah, you're sensational how you can turn 3 hours into a week, I tell you. And you used to saw.
You like that trick, huh?
They tell me you used to saw a woman in half.
Yeah.
And now their lawyers are doing it to you.
I knew where you were going. I knew where you were going. Anyway, the special you're doing tomorrow night is based on the book, which is, I guess, a history of entertaining.
That's 52 years.
52
of my
years.
career, from 1938.
Right.
To the present day. And can you imagine trying to squeeze that into 1 hour?
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that is
that's
incredible.
Like trying to squeeze Dom DeLuise, into a pair of spandex pants, Or Dolly Parton in the Twiggies training bra.
Are you done? You got Frances Langford, who did shows with you.
Isn't that wonderful? She came up
the...
from Florida just to be on the show. And, we run a lot of clips about the different people. And Frances came up and went on the show. They really remembered her and loved her.
A lot of people are probably asking you now, with what's happening in Saudi Arabia, if you plan to go over there at all.
No, I don't know.
Somebody asked you yet?
I don't go to that much sand without a caddy. I just don't
You'll probably end up there. You get tired of people asking you when you're going to retire? I know I've asked you that question, and you said to what or something, You get that question all the time?
It's the silly.
Yeah.
The silly. What for?
You're right. You're still working. You're not only doing television, you do concert dates.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is Henry Kissinger on this show? Did I see something?
Henry Kissinger was leaving for Japan, and I found that out, and he had 2 hours at the airport. So we had him come over to in Marina Del Rey, a bookstore.
Right, I saw it.
And he stood in line with a book.
Don't get an autograph.
And he got up and I said, "What's the name?" He said, "Henry." And I looked up, I said, "Henry Kissinger." He said, "Yeah." I said, "What are you doing here?" He says, "What are you doing here? This isn't a war zone." And we went into a whole routine with him, and it was fun.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We're going to show a little bit of the clip from the show. You got Frances Langford on the show. You got Milton on the show.
Got Milton, right?
Burl, who else?
We got George Burns.
George.
Representing vaudeville.
God.
And he said, and then it comes out in person, naturally. Right. We do a sand dance first. Do you think anybody remember that?
Certainly, I do.
And then he comes out in person and he says to me, "Why don't we do Gracie?" And I said, "I can't speak like Gracie." He said, "Well, look, just use your own voice and we'll do Gracie." And they said, "All right, I'll try that." So somebody threw a woman's hat up, a little stale hat. And I said, "I hope Jaja doesn't think I'm a lesbian." I did Gracie for him.
Or a thespian. Shall we just run the... Let's run and say this will give you a little preview of the show coming up Saturday.
Kind of cold here, and it's rough on the musicians. No matter what they blow, White Christmas comes out. Now, I have real good news for you. I want to tell you guys the country's behind you 50%.
You better back up. If we ever lock bumpers, we're dead.
You got a holster for that weapon?
Only my draft board knows for sure.
That's right. All the people on TV today are standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, and you got no idea how much trouble there is getting out of bed in the morning with Dom DeLuise on your shoulders.
After DeLuise ate a 10-course breakfast. After DeLuise ate a 10-course breakfast. Get out of here.
Can you read that line?
I'll read the line when I want to. Laugh at this one.
It's only an hour show.
I
isn't it?
know that.
With Jenny Craig on his show.
Shut up!
Play Gracie.
George, I can't talk like Gracie.
No. You play Gracie, but you talk like Bob Hope.
Oh, him I can do.
Good. We need a lady's hat. Has anybody got a lady's hat? Oh, there we are. Thank you.
You must play for Cleveland.
That's right. Made it out on the show. Anyway. Hey, thanks for coming again. The show is Saturday night at NBC. What time? I should know what
10
time.
o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then you're off to Kansas City, and you're doing some more concert dates.
No, we're going to Atlanta.
Atlanta first, and then Kansas
Atlanta
City.
and Topeka.
And Topeka.
Topeka, Kansas. Playing 2 benefits there.
Okay. Thanks for coming,
The
Bob.
IRS.
Thanks for coming.